all of a sudden, her team, one of, I think, coach, came to me, grabbed my belt, just pulled it out from me, and they given her belt. Oh, yeah, they just cheering. Yeah, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. I was like, what? I just look at my coach. And my coach was like, no, 2 seconds. Let me just sort it out. We went to the judges table, and the supervisor looked at me because we were both of us were there. And she looked at me. She was like, what they doing? You won, clearly. There's no mistake.
Hi and welcome to The Real Women of Boxing. My name is Jacqui-Lee Pryce, and today's guest is the current EBU European Flyweight Champion, Jasmina Zapotoczna. How you doing? You all right?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Very good. Nice to see you. Glad to have you. We have been waiting to hear your story. So yeah, all good. How you been?
Yeah, I've been doing good. Successful title defense. However, the last 12 months were quite frustrating for me. Only one fight since my title fight. I expected a little bit more. But it didn't happen. But luckily, good for me. I defended my title on away turf. But here I am, still European champion.
Yeah, good to hear. So we'll get into all of that because there's a lot to unpack. But I really want to take it back. You're from Poland, aren't you? Moved here a few years ago. What was it like growing up in Poland?
I have really good memories if it comes to my childhood, and I love Poland. And at the beginning, it's a bit harsh to say that, but at the beginning, I hated here. I hated being here. I didn't want to be here. I really wanted to go back home because I had all my family, all friends, everyone back in Poland. So it was a bit difficult at the beginning for me here. Childhood, I had a happy childhood, I have to admit. I had two siblings. I have two siblings as well. I was growing up in a little village in South Poland, and back in the day, when I'm thinking about it now, how much of the transition I went, how I changed myself and how I changed my perception and point of view about stuff. It's unbelievable because back in the day, when I was much younger, I thought it's a kind of a shame, like I felt embarrassed that I'm from a little village, and back in the days it was like all people from, even at school, when I was at school in high school, I had a lot of like kind of a joking about myself. Oh, you're from village, this and that. Like it's something bad, like it's something embarrassing. But now I can tell that I've got so much value in, like, when from the little village, how my parents was bringing me up, and how beautiful place I'm from, and I'm very proud of being Polish and being from my little village.
I mean, what was it about that made people, ridicule it in a sense?
I don't know why, but that's how it was back in the day, and that's why I had massive issues with my self-confidence, with self-belief, and it was just dragging me down for years, and eventually I could manage to redirect myself and just completely change my perception and perspective about stuff.
It's interesting that what people see as fun as a kid, I don't think they realise the implications and how deeply affected people will be. And that obviously, I mean, I remember conversations that we've had before, and we'll get into that a bit later, but I know that these things have affected you deeply. But you found music, didn't you? Was that kind of a way out for you?
Do you know, since I was a little girl, to be fair, I started singing when I was 6. So So music was always in my life, and at school we had a band and like a group of kids who were singing, and we were taking part in competitions, and we were winning competitions. And then I started singing solo, went to music school. So yeah, that was my first love really before boxing. And I was dreaming about making big career in music and being a singer, and it never happened. And it's happened because of the reality. And just because being from that little village, I didn't know anything about that industry. I had my dreams. I had, obviously I was thinking about big stage, being in a show business and this and that, but never ever, no one ever told me the reality and the brutality about this industry. When I was 18, it was to be fair for me, it was a big slap on my face, and that's how I changed from music to sport after a while. But yeah, I think, do you know what? It's a good thing to say. Do you know, when I used to be in school in my little village, nobody ever thought about, oh, that brand, this brand, you wearing this clothes, that clothes. Never ever, honestly. And I went to high school to that little town, and then all of a sudden, some of my friends started laughing at me because I had some like no name shoes, or do you know what I mean? And then that was a massive surprise for me. That was shocking. And then after so many years, when I'm at this age now and have completely different point of view, I'm thinking that's not what defines me. That's not my definition. That's not the definition of me being a good person or have some values. But that was a little bit shocking. But music, it was my kind of an escape.
So you get into music, which, I'm guessing from what you've said, you're living in this small village, and you're probably I'm guessing you're quite sheltered. You're just enjoying the music. But like you've said about, and I know this well, the alternative side, the other side of the music and the sort of creative and the acting industry. Did you realize also that, through that image is so important in those spaces? And how did that also affect you?
I had a few times I've tried on some castings to like Got Talent or something like that in Poland. But then I found out after a year or two, I met a girl who was in that program, one of the program, and she said to me, "Jazz, they make you look stupid in that kind of a program. Everything is with the scenario, everything is made up. So it's not like everything what's happening in that kind of program it's just made up, and everyone knows what's going to happen next. So it's just a big bullshit. Sorry, my language, but it actually is. And then I realized, without contacts, without backup, without money, without some people who would push you a bit further or promote you, you are no one really. It's only like little percentage of people who would go somewhere further without any like kind of a help.
There's a gate that needs to be opened even after you win a competition like that, and then there's certain games that need to be played, and that's just facts. But so, did you actually audition for what was it?
Yes.
Was it called not Britain's, Poland's Got Talent?
Yeah, there is Poland's Got Talent, and there are a few different kind of very similar to Idol, but it wasn't Idol. It was something similar. So I've been to few castings and never went through. Never even. It was like a pre-casting. So pre-casting is to get to the big jury and get there to be in TV. I never even went through that. I never even passed it. And I just gave up. I just thought, well, I'm from a little village, and I'm not worth too much. So it looks like my destination is just not music. not there.
Were you basically a bit of a musical theatre kid, or was it just straight singing that you did?
Singing, but in high school, I've been in like a big choir, but we were singing not only like church song or something. We were traveling around the Europe, and we were winning all competitions. But we were singing all sorts of music. But yeah, I was always dreaming only about solo. I wanted to be on that big stage. That was my dream.
So you've put all that time and effort and energy into pursuing a music career. Was there a specific moment during that journey that, you know, made you pivot and go into?
No, that was even worse. That was worse. I've just met very dodgy people who just wanted to use me, and they were just promising me a big career. And I was like 18 years old, maybe at the time, or 19. But I wasn't that stupid, you know. So I just thought, no, it's not for me. I don't want it. And that's when my big career of a singer just done, just quit, just finished.
I mean, they talk about people having to sell their soul in order to make it in the music industry, in the acting industry. Do you think, firstly, it's possible to make it without doing that?
Yeah, with some context, probably, with some people who you know and who could back you up and you can trust, probably yes. But without it, or maybe a lot of money, you could pay a lot. Yeah, if you can pay people to help you out, then yes. But other than that, it's just all. It's hard. It's very difficult and very brutal. I've just realized that I don't need that. I don't need that to be valuable and just worth something. I don't need to sell my soul to anyone, really.
When you think about your time as a singer, when you think about those experiences that you had that made you walk away, what pieces of advice would you give to anybody pursuing a musical career?
Just, yeah, be very careful. Definitely be super careful, and listen what your gut's saying to you, because that's very, very important. And being famous, or sometimes it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. And yeah, I think be careful, but chase your. It's not even about chasing your dreams for any cost, because that is just not worth it. It's what you feel is right or what's not. Some people would do anything to be famous or to anything to do a big career in music, but I think it's all about what kind of values we got and what we believe in.
There's so much temptation along the way, and it's hard for people to cling on to their morals. And I think, especially in this day and age, was there a moment where you just thought, actually, nah, you see this, I'm not willing to give this for that? Can you remember
Yes.
a specific moment?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly when I realized that someone who just wanted to use my age and my stupidity. Well, they thought that it's my stupidity and my and me being naive. But then I just realized, oh, it's not for me, and I can't do it anymore. I can't sacrifice. I was, honestly, I've done so many stupid things just to try. I just had my dreams and I was trying to chase them, and then I realized it could end up badly for you. So I just realized, no, it's not for me, and I just stopped.
What have you learned from being in that environment, being around that snaky underhand behaviour, because we know it exists? What have you taken from that you're able to kind of use in boxing?
Actually, yeah, obviously in boxing industry, there's a lot of snakes as well, and people who want to use you or rob you. I'm still gonna mention that just trusting your gut, your intuition. And even my coach once said to me, "Jazz, trust your intuition. Just listen to your intuition. Wherever it says, it's gonna be right." What I got from that kind of experience, definitely not believe in people, but don't trust fully. Don't get me wrong. I'm very, if it comes to going through stuff, I'm very tough, and I'm quite, I've got thick skin now after all them experiences during my life. But this taught me that I'm worth more than people see me. I am worth much more, and I don't need recognition from anyone. I don't need to chase anyone. I don't need to. I don't need people to like me. I don't need people to respect me. I'm not chasing that. And to achieve something, it's all up to me. And I think being a European champion now, through all them years, I proved that. I proved it. I proved it to myself, and I proved it to everyone, but mostly to me. That yes, whatever I wanted to achieve, I achieved, and I don't need to rub anyone's shoulders for that.
Do you wonder, though, actually, whether these people realised your worth in a respect, and that's why they wanted to use you, and the mental change is actually something that happened in you, if that makes sense?
No, I've realized that in people they just thought that I am very easy to manipulate because I was obviously young, and they just thought that they can do whatever they wanted. They can tell me whatever they want, and I'm gonna believe it because I'm that stupid and I'm chasing my dreams that much. But I just think that people underestimated me at that time.
You then sort of transition from boxing into, I understand, martial arts and then boxing. Is that the right way?
Yeah, I tried when I was 15, I was trying a little bit of kickboxing, then jiu-jitsu when I was 16, and then there was a big gap, 4 years gap before I started boxing. So when I was 20, I started, I was on university at the time. So I've started boxing quite. In Poland, people were saying, "Oh yeah, you're 20. Yeah, you're old. You're old for starting boxing." But yeah, that's when I started, and then a lot of people didn't believe that I can go that far. So that's another proof and statement that just because someone don't believe in you, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna get it where you want to be.
Didn't you end up making it onto the national team?
Yeah. Exactly. I started when I was 20, and to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't want to fight in amateurs. I had and that's another thing about being from the little village and have no experience in anything like sports or amateurs or this, because boxing in my little village, in my area, even amateur boxing wasn't there. Honestly, it was karate, it was taekwondo, it was any other stuff, but never boxing. So I didn't know anything about boxing. I didn't know anything. I only knew about boxing in TV when Mike Tyson was fighting and other professionals. So when I started boxing, from the first training, I thought, yeah, I want to do this. I want to try my abilities in the ring. I didn't know what I was talking about at the time, but I knew straight away I want to fight, and I've started training. I did my first amateur fight, and I was like, that's it. 3 rounds. Where's the all flashlights? Where's all that stuff? What I was seeing I've seen in TV. So amateur boxing wasn't my cup of tea at all. I was always dreaming about big stage flashlights, like it was in music. I want to be the big professional. So obviously,
you wanted that ring walk, the flashy outfit.
Exactly, and I thought, to be fair, it was very good lesson for me and good background, and it humbles me a lot as well. Amateur, I'm still thinking that amateur boxing is more difficult than professional, because we have to adapt with a lot of different styles in boxing. Nobody's gonna tell us who we're gonna fight in finals or this and that. So coming back to me being in national team, yes, after I think I had maybe 10 fights, not even probably 10 fights, amateur fights, and I was in national team. It was short episode. I just could not afford it. I couldn't. I lived on my own. I was paying my bills. I was working, and I didn't have any sponsorship. So most of the time, I had to be on sports camp with national team. So I couldn't. But I had my debut in national team. Very successful, I'd say. Because all them girls it was international tournament in Warsaw. And that was my first time in national team, my debut. And then all them girls lost. So I had bronze medal. And I lost to a very good girl who was in Olympics in like years after or something. So yeah, that was good. But I just could not afford it. And the same year, 2018, and then that tournament was in March, and in December I was in England already. So, so the same year.
In my experience, women do end up starting later. They either start, as kids, and then we have had in the clubs that I've coached in, we've had women that have come in their 20s, etc., like yourself, and usually they come because they were, taking part in the Keep Fit sessions, and then they thought, oh, I'll have one bout, and then they see how far they can go. There seems to be this same thread of people telling you you're not good enough. So we've, in your music career, you're from a small village, it's almost like the context is how dare you dream big. And then you get into boxing and you're kind of faced with the same thing and the same obstacles and the same hurdles. What was it like for you to walk into the seniors? Because I'm guessing you were a senior by that time and you're meeting all these girls that have been on the circuit for years. What was that like for you to walk into that? You laugh, which just made me laugh because I can imagine what it was like. But what was that like? What was that like for you to kind of walk into their territory?
Oh my God! Honestly, it was fun for me, but I didn't expect that. And obviously, it's a completely different atmosphere between boys and girls. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. And obviously, me being already 20, I can't remember my first Polish nationals, where when I only had one fight. Or two, and I went straight to deep waters to Polish national championship. So when I met some girls, I met some girls who I with in a room, and they said, "How many fights you've got?" Two. Don't tell anyone. So I had a completely different point of view. My perception, my perspectives were different. I was living on my own. I was paying my bills. I was on university, so it was completely different world for me. And them girls, they were thinking about looking at each other, like, oh yeah, how can I intimidate her? And it made me laugh. Honestly, it made me laugh because the girls were like, wow, and they were all of them were like nasty to each other, like trying to So yeah, that was kind of an experience for me.
But the arts can be very, very stressful. The music industry can be very stressful, and it can be really, really competitive too. Did that kind of prepare you a little bit for this competitive athlete world?
I think it did, and to be fair, it's quite interesting and fascinating for me, because even when I was stressing out before getting to the stage, when I was singing, I thought I've never been so stressed out, and I was always quite confident about me singing and my abilities and my skills, let's say. And in boxing, in amateur, when I started boxing, I was very, very scared, paralyzed. I don't know why it was like that, but many fights I already lost before I get to the ring, because I didn't believe in myself. I was focusing on my opponent. Oh yeah, she's got that many fights. She can do this. She's got this achievement, that achievement, and I have nothing really. I was terrified. Before each fight, I was terrified. I was always thinking, "Whoa, why am I even doing this?" Maybe because of people saying to me, "Oh, you old, you this, you that." All them girls on nationals, they were experienced. They were training since they were 15, 14, and I started being 20. So it got to me a bit. It got to me.
But I guess that was the intention. And thinking of you being a singer and you saying that you sang in a choir, that is that's a collaborative experience. And then you've switched from a sort of collaborative experience to being a kind of solo artist in boxing, if that makes sense. And that comes with a whole set of different rules, I think. I think sports people are actually way, way more narcissistic, egotistical, competitive.
Yes. And I feel like girls are, oh my God, it's, yeah, especially girls.
So, yeah, I just wondered if you kind of, saw that shift between the way people, viewed you in a respect.
Yeah, I think I'm still struggling sometimes with that kind of stuff because I can see a lot of boxers or a lot of kind of attitudes, that people just minding their own business and they want to do everything what's best for them, and they just like pushing and just doing whatever it takes to be in the best position, and fighting for themselves. I'm still struggling with that kind of stuff. You see me on weigh-in or press conference. I can't be egotistical. I can't mind on my own business. I don't like upsetting people. I don't want to be nasty. I don't want to be arrogant, and I've never been. And sometimes I'm thinking, oh, I wish I could be more like that, because that would help me especially in this industry. Because that's what it is. That's how it works many times. If I'm not going to fight for myself, if I'm not going to stand for myself, if I'm not going to be more vocal, I'm not going to achieve anything.
Do you think you can actually succeed being the nice girl or the nice guy?
Oh, I'm asking myself that question quite often, but the question is, would I achieve more if I would be more vocal and more tough to people? Let's say tough to people, or if that would be against me, or if that would work against me. So far, being in how long? Nearly 5 years, professional. I achieved quite a lot being nice girl, being nice to people, and working hard. It's hard to answer that question completely because we don't know. We don't know. It could stand against me. It could work against me. Because if you are pretending someone who you not are, then it always stand against you.
I saw somewhere Terence Crawford talking about people saying, why don't you become this character in order to get to move forward? And I've also had other friends in boxing that they've been told to play a character, and that way you will be able to move forward. But when I think about it, I try to think of the balance of how can you achieve that without, I don't know, being so selfish, and I'm not sure it's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm honestly, I'm scared of like some events which could which I which could happen against me. Like if I'm going to be if I'm going to be selfish, if I'm going to be just egotistical, just thinking about myself, it will come back to me. That's what I strongly believe in, karma, kind of a karma. So I'd rather just be who I am and just instead of pretending or being a character or playing a character. I could not do that.
When you think about people like Bivol and Beterbiev and Usyk, they've got this humility, and yet they're still kind of got that animalistic
Yeah,
thing.
but you see, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to be an arrogant to become someone. You know what I mean? It's like, I always believed, since I started boxing and since I started professional, I always believed I'm gonna get what I want by hard work, and I'm gonna show. I don't have to lick in anyone's ass. I'm not gonna rub anyone's shoulders. Yeah, but I believe that sometimes you have to, but to the certain level. But me being me, I just want to achieve everything by me being me, not pretending. Like Usyk didn't have to being a character is character on his own, but you know what I mean. He didn't have to be an arrogant. He didn't have to be he didn't have to be a selfish, person who's like just chasing everything and everyone by being, I don't know, selfish and just being nasty to other people or intimidate anyone. He was a good fighter, and he was just stepping up all the time.
I hear what you're saying, but also there's a part of me that I now think, as I get older, and this is not a criticism of yours, because I think we think the same way, but I think that we're slightly naive, or I'll speak for myself, that
that's true.
We feel that these things are in place in order to support us. We feel like if we just be ourselves, but that's too idealistic. The world doesn't work like that. And until we kind of accept that there are certain levels that we will not be able to get to with just hard work. And then we have to ask the question of, am I willing to do X, Y, and Z? And we've already seen that you're not willing to do that in order to get, and again, I'm not just talking about sexual things here. I'm talking about, there's loads of things that, little hurdles we all have to maneuver in order to move up the ranks. And I found peace in the fact that I know I'm not willing to do certain things. And so I have found peace in the fact that I won't get to certain levels because I'm not willing to do certain things, and I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Do you know, I think even when I'm thinking about sometimes, maybe I should be more, if I would be more vocal, or if I would be more bitchy, or if I would be more arrogant, I would get further. I still believe that I can get there with obviously a little bit more work and maybe a little bit more hustle, but I still can be there.
So you get over here and you start obviously boxing. Why choose the UK over Poland?
To be fair, before I came to England, I quit boxing, so I didn't even think about coming back to boxing. I thought, I'm going to move to England just to make some money and just have a normal life. And that was the purpose, really. But boxing found me, and I just started training again. But I didn't have any plans, really. And to be fair, the first 10 months, it was complete disaster because of the coach I work with. To be fair, he shouldn't even call himself coach. He's not training anyone anymore. But I thought, oh my God, and another like problems after problems after problems. I said, why that bloody boxing just following me everywhere? And then after 10 months, I moved to my current coach, my current gym, Dick's Gym in Batley. And that's how everything has started, really. I didn't know what to expect. My coach, obviously, he warned me and said, it's not going to be easy. I said, yeah, tell me about it. Like my path was always easy. But obviously, again, again, I've chosen to go through that path and go to, and then just like put a risk on it. And I said, yeah, okay, let's do this. Let's see what's happened.
I'm guessing that because he was honest with you from the beginning, and especially because you had I'm trying to find a polite word to say coach.
Yeah, trust me. Bad, yeah.
But you know what's funny? Because I see this more in professional boxing. I'm qualified in both. And I can honestly, it's so easy to walk into professional boxing and do that course and call yourself a coach, having had no prior experience or very, very, very little experience. And I see people where I'm like, how have you got your coach's license? I have absolutely no idea.
I think it's because, and I have to go back to the beginning. When you've got proper foundation and you've got quality coach from the beginning, and you know the work ethic and you know how it should work, nobody's gonna con you. Nobody's gonna sell you some bullshit. Nobody. Because you know the work ethic, you know how it works. And that coach, the first coach in England, he was like talking a lot. Yeah, he was trying to play good character and how much he knows about this and that. But I just knew based on my experience. I already knew that he's shy.
You can feel a talker though, can't you?
Yes,
In your gut. Do you
in
know what I
miles.
mean? You don't even have the evidence, but you just know,
Yeah,
don't you?
exactly. And I put him on a spot a few times. And I was right. And then in the end of the day, he just, I'll give you a stupid example. I had, after 3 months being in England, I had first white collar fight. Yeah.
Get off
And
my podcast. Get off now. Get off.
I had white collar boxing and he wasn't even on my fight, knowing that I'm fresh in England and I'm his fresh fighter. And he didn't even go for my fight. So what kind of coach?
Hold on.
What kind of coach is?
Sorry. So, because joking aside, I don't find that funny at all. Having had many years, you just don't abandon your fighter like that. I don't find that funny at all. You shouldn't call yourself a coach. You should be nowhere near a fighter. So you're saying he didn't come to the competition, or he just wasn't in your corner?
No, he didn't even come to competition. He didn't even honestly, he just sent someone randomly and he didn't even tell me. He told me day before the fight or something that he's not going to be able to come to my fight. I was like, "What?" So I knew I knew. I just felt from the beginning that he's just talking a lot of books and that's it.
Didn't you turn over in 2021 and then you did your white collar?
Well, yeah, when I came here to England, after first 3 months in England. So basically it was even more stressful for me because it was a new country for me. I couldn't speak English properly as well. I trusted my coach. Honestly, it was crazy. Everything was crazy. I was depressed. I left my family in Poland. I didn't want to be here. I was working in warehouse. It was crazy. And then that coach, and I thought, why I even come back to boxing? It's just pointless. I'm not going to go anywhere.
But, I remember us talking and you were saying that, you struggled with kind of confidence and stuff like that. But there's a part of me that says, I don't think you were as weak as you thought you were. I think you were more mentally strong, having gone through the whole music scene and what goes on behind the scenes. Then we get on a national team. We know what that's like or can be like. And then you get to, I think coming to a new country, in itself, just coming to a new country, learning a new language, that's tough enough. But then on top of that, to put up with BS, do you know what I'm saying? So I think you were a lot tougher than you give yourself credit for.
Yes, I think I just didn't give myself enough credit. After years, I spoke to my coach and he said when I had a really bad time and I wanted to quit professional in 2023, I had a long conversation with my coach, and he was like, Jazz, look how far you've come. Look where you are now. Look where you've been. How tough time you went through. And I started thinking about maybe you should be a little bit more grateful, or give yourself a little bit more credit of what you've done, what you achieved, where you come from, and what you had to do to be where you are now. And it's true, like you said. At the end of the day, I was strong mentally. I went through all them. I never gave up, and even with all them obstacles and all them crazy situations after coming to England, I could still handle it. I could still face a lot of stuff, and I could go through it.
Was it that conversation that kind of just flipped the switch for you?
Not really. No, it was. At that time when I was in the worst mental position I ever been, I met Ebony Bridges at that time. And she shared a little bit of story about herself and how tough her path was at the beginning of boxing as well. And I thought, oh my God, I'm not alone. And it gave me a lot of strength, and it kept me going. And everything. And then, yes, it was October when I met Ebony, and in January I found out about the fight with Shannon. So I thought, oh, maybe my life has changed. Maybe there is some more opportunities. Maybe finally something will happen better to get myself be in a better position. And then I lost.
We'll skip that
I was
part.
like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So, but yeah.
Going back to the Ebony Bridges moment, what did that mean to you to have specifically a female come in and support you at that moment when, let's be fair, in the past you hadn't really had that?
Do you know, I think it's because Ebony was just down to earth, and she just showed me that nothing, like many things what we've seen on social media, or like someone who's successful and someone who is somewhere, most of the time, or many times, it's just, the background is not what we think it is, and it's much tougher than we think, and it's that much more difficult. Not for everyone, don't get me wrong. I don't think everyone is going through that path from the beginning of their career. Some people are just more lucky. Some people just have more luck, or maybe they are in a different situation in life. But I think that's what gives us more. That's more rewarding for people who have to overcome a lot of difficulties. It's much more rewarding, and that's good example of me winning fight with Maisie Rose Courtney. I just burst in tears. Maisie Rose Courtney, yeah. It was a very emotional moment for me, because that, for me, it was the moment when everything paid off, and all my hard work and all struggles and everything, and that was very, very emotional for me.
I'm going to go back to the Shannon Ryan moment. I'm not joking. I was joking when I said we're going to skip over it, because actually that again is one of the defining moments, that you were taking on somebody that, is a matchroom fighter. She's been tipped for big things, and you get that opportunity. Even though you lost, what did you take from fighting?
Definitely, it gave me much more confidence and much more, maybe not believe, because I did believe in myself, but I thought when I lost, obviously I was devastated, and in a changing room, it was bad. It was the worst moment for me, obviously. But I thought at that time, before I lost, I thought, oh, I can't lose, and then having 0 in my record, it must be, and it's like I will not be able to get up from losing. And I thought I'm gonna be done when I lose. I just put it to myself, and to be fair, yeah, I was upset, but next day I woke up, I was like, yeah, it's a part of a game. It's not defining me. But I've learned a lot about myself, and I progressed a lot if it comes to boxing.
And I don't mean this as a disrespect, but if you are a boxer that's on the quote unquote B side, you are effectively going to just have to roll the dice. So you roll the dice against Shannon Ryan and it doesn't work out. But you've just mentioned Maisie Rose Courtney, and she had a massive amateur career. I know Maisie really well. Obviously, matchroom fighter, another matchroom fighter, and tip for big things. And you go in there and you beat her.
I know my skills. I know my ability. And if it comes to fight with Shannon, I knew it's going to be a 50-50 fight, but I believed that I have skills to face her. And I don't think I did bad. Maybe that's the reason why the fight is not on. But if it comes to Shannon, Maisie, no, we were much more confident, and we knew that I'm on a different level. I just knew that. And I knew deep down, and I also I trust my coach as well. So my coach was completely confident about. He told me straight away about Shannon. He said, "Jazz, it's a little bit of a gamble. It's going to be a 50-50 fight, but it's worth it." And that's what's happened. And then and he said, "But Maisie Rose, it's going to be easy win for you. You'll see." By losing with Shannon, I gained much more confidence, and I gained much more from that defeat. So I just went to the few months after I went to the ring with Maisie, and I just did a brilliant job.
A loss shouldn't define you, and especially in the female game, it's a little bit easier to lose than it is in the male side. It's just facts. But for you to take, that loss. The positive was being on this huge platform. And then, of course, everybody's now looking at you going, oh, she's a good option. She's a good option. And then that obviously led to you beating Maisie Rose Courtney. So that was for the WB International. So now you've got a belt in your hand. People start looking at you differently, though, don't they, when you've got a belt?
They did look at me a bit differently, but people still underestimate me. I think, and some people in England, they just think that they are entitled to something, just because of being British. And don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be nasty. It's just how it is. And we know exactly that in the with the big promoters, the fighters with the big promoters, most of the time they are overhyped. They are just overloading with being famous and being a golden girl or golden boy from Matchroom. And then when the big challenge comes up, they are. And is it not a good example of me being no name and being an underdog? I think it is.
Obviously now you've got that WBA International. You're on the road to bigger things, and then comes that EBU European Flyweight title. Now, for people that don't know, it's a well-respected belt, that
yes,
EBU
it is.
belt, isn't it?
It is, especially, obviously, maybe not in America or Canada, but in it is here.
It is
yeah,
here.
Exactly. And I really, I was, I really wanted that blue belt. I was always laughing, oh, I be matching my eye color. But yeah, to be fair, European title, it was another proof of me believing myself and even being underdog, still chasing my dreams, no matter what someone says, no matter who, no matter who, who's around them people, who's around me. Just me, my coach, my team. As long as I believe in myself, as long as my coach believes in me, I'm all right.
I mean, listen, you fought some, and they've all been on that well, not Shannon Ryan, but Maisie Rose was on that kind of England trajectory. Chloe Watson was on Team GB. Do you know what I mean? So you've gone in there and you fought her on the card, that it was the boxer card, wasn't it? At the Royal Albert Hall. She was the favourite to win that. Did you believe that you had what it takes to beat Chloe?
I didn't doubt it, not even for a split second. Honestly, I didn't. Obviously, I knew Chloe. We spent 100 rounds in a ring together, sparring, and from the beginning, we had in our minds that we could see each other in a ring eventually. But I truly believe, and I know that the just because we were sparring each other for so many times, it will help me, and it worked on my benefits, to be fair. On her as well, obviously, don't get me wrong. She knew me. She knew how I fight. But Chloe is a tough fighter, and she's got the skills that not many girls can deal with. She's bully in the ring. She's tough. She just make you look stupid in the ring. Push you off balance, and all them little tricks. I've seen. I've learned, and that's what helped me. But I never doubt, and don't get me wrong, most of our sparring were 50-50. So it's not like, I was on top of her all the time because I knew her tricks. No. It was very even. But I never doubted in myself that I could lose that fight. Never.
And of course, not everybody shows everything in sparring. So there's still, I'm imagining, moments within a fight where you kind of have to still work out the other opponent, try and set little traps and outwit each other. And also it can go against you knowing what
yes,
people can
it
do,
can. But in this situation, in a fight with Chloe, I think that mentality won. I think my mental preparation won. And I honestly, I believe that's what it was, and that's what helped me win. Because I was so obsessed about that fight. Me and my coach, we were so obsessed. As soon as we found out that we're gonna fight her, it was like an obsession, honestly. And I know that there is still a lot of people who don't believe that mental matters that much, but it does. And that was on my side, to do the proper work with my mentality, with my mental preparation for the fight. And that's what's happened. And there was nothing personal towards Chloe. She was just another fighter, another opponent who I have to face, and that's it. And it could be any other person. But during the years, I know, and I've realized how much of improvement I've done with mentality, and that's what let me win that fight.
It sounds like it's given you an edge from being someone that would, I don't know, allow somebody the space to step in front of you to, and being elbowed out the way, to someone who's like, hold on a minute, I'm not allowing anybody to elbow me out the way. This is what I'm going for. This is my journey. You just happen to be in the way.
Yes, exactly. And I've learned how to switch off emotions completely out of the ring, out of the boxing. And that's why I'm always so cheerful, and some people maybe think that I'm stupid or silly or whatever on TV or weigh-in or something, because I have no bad feelings towards any of my opponent, no matter what they say. Maisie Rose, she said something about, I'm gonna send how she said that, I'm gonna send Chloe Watson's mate home, and then I'm gonna do the job with Chloe. Honestly, nothing works. Nothing. I just switching off myself completely, and no hard feelings, no bad blood or anything like that towards any of my opponent.
I also understand the ability to flick the switch on and off. And you're saying that, you're not emotional outside of the ring, and you're able to sort of just flick that switch. But how has that affected you and your relationship with Chloe since?
Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to have a chat with her, to spoke to her. after fight. I can imagine she it hurted her. It just hurt. It's painful, and for anyone, it is painful. The defeat is painful. But considering our relationship in as a sparring partners, I thought we could manage to at least have a little chat. But I'm not judging her. Because that's who she is, and let's be it. But if any time she will ever, if she ever would tell hello to me or whatever and have a chat, obviously I'm up for it. But I'm not gonna ask anyone. I'm not gonna ask her to have a chat, or like, I don't know. She doesn't have to be my friend, or she doesn't have to like me.
For some people that don't, you watching might not understand that there are very few people at your weight that you can spar. So that's the first thing. So eventually, especially in the women's division, you're probably going to end up fighting someone that you sparred in the past. And I think it's really difficult for women. I think it's difficult for us to let go of that emotion. I don't think it's a Chloe issue. I think it's a woman thing.
Yes, I think that's, especially like you said, boxers, athletes' attitude, especially the very individual sport it is, how individual sport it is. It's kind of obviously all boxers got big ego. So I think it's that kind of issue that it's hard to, especially, with me and Chloe, when I'm thinking about our first sparring sessions, oh my God, she was throwing me like a bag of potatoes, in the ring. Honestly, I remember they were tough sparring for me, and I couldn't handle it. I couldn't deal with it. I was frustrated. I was upset. And that was a time when I put a lot of emotions in the ring. That didn't help. So I can imagine maybe it's a kind of a thing like, oh my God, I was on top of her for so long, and then all of a sudden I'm losing fight. So probably that's something that could be quite painful and hard to face.
But I look at that, even David Haye and Chisora. I mean, they hated each other back in the day, hated each other. And then Chisora went to work with David Haye, and I was like, I don't think, for me, it would be a trust thing. But I think we women are snidier than men are. I think we're a bit more, I don't know, we're just, because I've got a lot of male friends, and I don't, the way they act in business is slightly different to women. But anyway, yeah, I just, and I say this wholeheartedly, I need to learn to forgive, but I do see it being really difficult. So you win that fight, obviously, all female card at the Royal Albert Hall, a historical place. I actually was there. Great atmosphere. And then you go on to defend the title last November, wasn't it? Was it Justine?
Yes.
Lallemand. Yeah. So when you look back at that fight, or when people look back at that fight, they see the result. But what part of the fight or that experience didn't they see?
It's a long story. Basically, obviously, away fight is never the easiest fight. But to be fair, I didn't expect it's going to be that hard. And in France, nothing worked there. Nothing. From the beginning, from the meeting about gloves, they were trying to just like make some dodgy moves. To weigh in, press conference, everything didn't work, and everything, they didn't let us know what time the weigh-in is. The weigh-in was 6 p.m. at night, the day before fight, which was ridiculous for me. But they didn't even tell us what time the weigh-in is. The coach from Justine, he was very upset seeing me making the weigh, and he was moving the scale during the way. Oh, it was ridiculous. But that's not the main thing. Honestly, it's not. It's just a little piece of this story. Then they were trying to distract us for the fight night. They were just telling us that we go into the show to the arena at this time, and we were going at the other time. So they were trying to stress us out. Knowing that the hotel was disgusting, it was horrible. And then on a fight night, we went to the changing room, and there was smell of the Bengay oils, the eucalyptus oils or something. My eyes were in tears. Exactly, my eyes were in tears. So my coach was off, and then went to their organizers, and then they said, no, we need to change our changing room, otherwise we're not fighting. Then we're supposed to have a ring walk 10:15. We were ready. The EBU judge came to our changing room, signed up the gloves. We are ready to go. And I said to I think it was my partner. I said to Steven, I said, can you have a look if it's time for us? He came back saying, there is 5 more fights before you. I was like, what? 5 fights? We supposed, how come? Turns out she knew about it, so she was in a changing room, just sitting and chilling. So my coach went to the supervisor from EBU, and luckily they were on our side. So they said, so she came to our changing room and said, no, it's not going to happen. 1 more fight and you're going to come out to the ring. She was already tough as well. Fight, to be fair, there was no doubt who won that fight. I won 8 rounds. 7, let's say in a worst case scenario, because she was on her own soil. So yeah, let's say 7 rounds. Nearly finished her in.
What was it?
10 rounder,
was it
yeah.
10 rounder.
So in 9th round, I nearly stopped her. Basically, it was it was good fight, but I won this fight comfortably. And then they announced that I won. And her corner started like having a lot of problems and issues about it. They were booing this and that. All of a sudden, her team, one of, I think, coach, came to me, grabbed my belt, just pulled it out from me. And they given her belt. Oh yeah, they just cheering. Yeah, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. I was like, what? I just look at my coach. And my coach was like, no, 2 seconds. Let me just sort it out. We went to the judges table, and the supervisor looked at me, because we were both of us were there. And she looked at me, she was like, what they doing? You won, clearly. There's no mistake. You won. So they just took the belt again. The promoter who was organizing the fight, he was kicking off to me like I did something wrong. He was kicking off to me, and I have it on a video. He was trying to intimidate me. And so what's happened? Me as a champion, I was coming out from blue corner. So they mixed it up. So the lady from French Federation, she thought that I'm in a red corner. So that's why she said, oh yeah, Justine Lallemand won because she's in the blue corner. So that's why she mixed it up. We went to I said, and there was like a big, massive riot, I'd say. In a ring. So I said to my team, I said, let's go to the changing room because they're going to beat me up here in a second. So we went to the changing room. They followed us. People from her corner, basically, people from her corner followed us, and they started banging on the door to our changing room, and they just started shouting to us, give us our belt back, give us our belt back. And that's what's happened. And that was ridiculous. So yeah, basically it was crazy. It was just crazy.
Sadly, I have heard about intimidation tactics before, mainly when I was kickboxing. That was a regular occurrence. And I hadn't heard of this sort of stuff and to the lengths that these people were going to knock you off your game. So that's the first thing. And sadly, it still happens, obviously. When you talk about the intimidation and them following you back to the ring and snatching, your belt out of your hands and stuff like that, how should a federation deal with people like that?
In my opinion, that especially promoter, he should be banned. He should be literally or even fined. Because what's happened next? What I need to add, they took picture of that supervisor of that lady from EBU. They started adding her picture on social media, accusing her that she changed the scorecards herself, which is complete bullshit. It's not true, not at all, honestly. So I don't. So as far as I know, she made official complaint about the promoter because he did a live stream on Facebook, slagging off that lady from EBU, that everything is dodgy, corruption, this and that, and nothing. The last thing I would expect that they're gonna be on my side on the away turf.
Listen, for most fighters on away turf, it's an uphill battle anyway. So you're kind of dealing with that. But then all the other little tactics like, the changing rooms, the gloves, all of those little things, I'm sure your trainer has sort of seen that before. But how does that affect you as a fighter?
The fact that I had to go away to defend my title, that was a bit of a harsh for me, and I felt a little bit, I don't know if it's correct word, deprived. I felt a little bit deprived by going away. Maybe I should be more vocal. Maybe I should push more. Maybe I should be maybe I should fight more for myself. But anyways, so that was a little bit, and I thought I'm gonna have a little bit more recognition, maybe some more opportunities will comes out after that winning fight, because I proved, I made a statement, and even being a foreigner, even being Polish in UK, I showed my skills. I showed that I am worth something. So that was a little bit painful for me, that I'm gonna have to go and then defend my title away. But then again, mental preparation. I have mental coach before, and I had to have my mental coach before my professional debut, because I would not be able to achieve anything in boxing. So I knew that something's wrong with me and I have to fix it. I fixed it. But the main job this time did Chris Larson. So I started working with Chris 3 weeks before my fight, and he did honestly amazing job towards, especially on a fight week, especially at the time when everything was happening in France. So nothing broke me, and I know that if my mental wouldn't be there where it should be, then I would probably.
This is where this sort of stuff counts, not just in the ring, outside the ring, because that flick of switch, it's like you're able to just almost be tunnel vision while everything is happening around you. It's so important. Let me ask you this. Do you think this is something that these people do to the opponents?
Yes, I think that's what they do. I think they've got the big ego, so they. And then what's more, she had, you've seen Lalemon. She was fighting. She fought 3 times for that title. 3 times, twice in a different country: Italy, England, and then the last fight she had on her own, in her own hometown, and she lost. And every time she said she got robbed. So in my opinion, she's just her promoter. He had massive expectations, and he thought, I'm entitled to win this because it's in my own town.
I think it actually worked in your favor, because listen, they talk about how people perform after a loss. They talk about how people perform in difficult circumstances. I think once you know that all of that is a grift just to get you off your flow, I think it's easy to deal with.
Definitely. For me, it was a sign how much of a threat I am for them, that they doing all them stuff. So that builds me even more, elevates my confidence even more.
Yeah, that's not cool. Do you know what the other thing? Do you know what? And I must say this. Obviously, I wasn't there, but it sounds like, from what you're saying, a female fighter, your opponent is a female fighter with a male coach, and yet that male coach was trying to intimidate
Crazy.
you.
One of her coach. So she had. As far I remember, one coach with beard, the second coach quite tall, and the third person was female, the woman. So that guy with beard, he was banging on our door, which was embarrassing. How on earth the coach, like, come on? And the other coach came to my coach and he apologized. So it was crazy, honestly.
It's crazy that you would try and intimidate a female fighter whilst also having a female fighter in your stable. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, yeah,
Exactly.
nice, very nice. You're talking about the lack of opportunities and the promises that don't materialize. You are a champion and yet you're having to go abroad, suffer, all that level of sabotage. What happens next? What is your coach looking for in 2026?
We're looking for the big fight, and the big fight is the only one, Gabriela Fundora, and that's what we want. And again, many people are hyped by Gabriela, and don't get me wrong, she's a brilliant fighter, brilliant, young, tall, southpaw. Most of her fights by knockout, but why I cannot believe in myself? Why I cannot think about my fight, think about myself big, and challenge the best. That's what we should do. That's what really should happen in boxing. That's our goal. And me and my coach, we've got big plans towards Gabriela Fundora, and I'm honestly hoping that it will happen.
I love your ambition, but there are going to be people out there that are going to say, listen, there are other fights that could be made, possibly in the UK or at least in the top 10. I know there's a lot of Mexican and there seems to be a lot of Argentinians as well. Are there fights to be made on that journey towards Gabriela?
Yeah, when I'm looking at the rankings, I'm number 3 in Ring Magazine. I'm number 3 in IBF and WBO, number 5 in WBA, and number 7 WBC. So if she's looking, and as far as I know, she's looking for a challenge, I truly believe that I am a challenge for her. No matter if there is any other girl in a ranking, if there will be any opportunity, if there will be a phone call or an offer from Gabriela Fundora team, I would go for that. Obviously, I'm not closed. I'm open for any other opportunities. But at the moment, I am just a little bit disappointed, and that's what deprives me as well a bit. Or I just feel like I'm still got that difficult path because I'm foreigner, because I am not English, because I live in England and nobody's really interested, or maybe I don't have big follow on social media, which matters these days. But what I have to say, promoter. And I feel like people forgetting about it. Promoter, by its definition, supposed to promote the fighter, promote the athlete. Is it not true? And these days, I feel like promoters looking for easier job and just looking for fighters or athletes who are already built.
To be honest, in their defense, it's the same in most industries now. And I think the only way you can cut through that noise is either play the game or just work your way and position yourself into a position where they cannot ignore you. And I think that that's realistically what you're doing now. I'm a bit old school. As much as I would like to see you fight Gabriela Fundora, I would like to see more development fights. I like to find out a little bit more about people. I like to get excited about people, but I completely understand that if an opportunity came, you'd be like flipping at A, the money, do you know what I mean? B, the platform, you're going to roll the dice.
I'd rather have probably if I would have an option to choose more fights to get more experience, yes, I would go for that. But I just feel like at the moment, the last 12 months, based on my experience, nothing is happening. Nothing.
MVP, who have maneuvered their way into the UK, have the most female fighters. Do you see that as a blessing or a curse in some respects for one promoter to have all of those females?
I don't think it's a cause. It's a curse, really. I don't think that's what it is, because there are all the promoters who still got some female fighters. I'm just, to be fair, I just don't know what kind of perception they've got and what kind of criteria they've got to get female fighters. And obviously, I'm thinking about myself. What else I should do? What else should I do to be in that, aura of MVP or the promoter? What else could I do? What some other fighters got what I don't? And that's my questions. How many fights or how many title fights I have to be recognized? And that's it, really.
I wonder. I think MVP is doing, amazing things for female boxing. I just wonder if they're able to put on enough cards to accommodate those many females. That many females. And also, you're going to have so many people at a certain weight, they are going to eventually have to fight each other. Whereas on other promotional platforms, you can kind of avoid, someone on your platform. So they've still got to put the shows on. They've still got to have the investment in the shows in order to put them on. I think that branching out into the UK is a great thing. It might not be this card, but the next card you might get a call. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think in that respect, they are going to have to fill cards. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but they just are. They're going to have to fill a card, and so then they're going to have to draw on the local talent, which is a good thing.
I hope so. I hope so, and I hope that this opportunity will come to me as well. Even being Polish, not British, but I think I've earned my position enough to be recognized and maybe to give me some credit. But yeah, like you said, yeah, it's kind of a MVP step to the English market. But to be fair, I didn't see massive moves from a lot of moves from Matchroom or Boxer recently, or any other promoter. So why not?
Yeah, why not? Listen, more platforms for more fighters to get on is, I love that. So you've been on an all-female card. What is it like to be on a card with all females? Is there a vibe difference, behind the scenes? How different is it in comparison to being on a kind of mixed card?
I think it is special for me personally. It was special because obviously it's not very common to have all female card. So that was, for me, it was kind of a rewarding as well. And again, for me, it was a proof to myself that anything is possible. Whatever we want, it's just the sky is the limit, really. Honestly, I felt honored. I felt privileged. I felt also proud of myself that that's me who achieved this. Nothing came to me easily. So that was even more rewarding for me and special.
Do you ever think about what life would look like if you'd stayed in music?
When I'm thinking about it now, at that time I think I was too arrogant. I mean, maybe not arrogant, but I expected too much. with little effort. So I think I just felt sorry for myself all the time, because obviously I expected that everything should happen to me because I've got big plans. I don't really think about it, what would happen if I would stay in music. But for me, it's kind of maybe I've changed profession completely, but the vision and idea of what I want to do in life is still there. I wanted a big stage, and I was in a big stage. And I believe that I'm going to be on a big stage again.
If boxing disappeared tomorrow, who would you be without it?
I can only see myself being a guide for people because of my experience and what I've learned so far. I would definitely try my best to teach other young people or young women to believe in themselves and to chase the dream no matter what, because we can't be whoever we want in life. It's just whoever we're going to listen to, and what we believe in and what we believe we can achieve matters.
Yeah, I think that the journey has prepared you for something big. I think you've needed to go through all the doo-doo to get to where you are now. Do you know what I'm saying?
I believe that. And do you know what? All them girls, I'm getting very emotional when I'm seeing or meeting new people or girls who are looking up at me, and they just like, I am quite an inspiration for them. And if I can be an inspiration, that's my mission. It's not to be obviously it is to be the best in the world, but also this is a mission. I'm on a mission to inspire people, that young people especially, that even if we are coming from the worst nightmare or the worst place or the place where nobody believed in us, we can still get there. But it's all to us, and it's hard work. Honestly, it is a tough work. And if I'm gonna be on the top, and that's my mission at the moment. If I'm gonna get to the top, and people's gonna recognize me, and I'm gonna have more recognition around the world, that's my mission, to show people that anything could happen and anything is achievable. But we just need to put some work, and we need to believe.
I think you are going to have a long career. It might have taken a bit of a journey to get there. Do you know what I mean? But I think you're going to be all right. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on our podcast, to hear your story, and I'm wishing you all the.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.